The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sisters Speak. You're here with me, Fareen, and we are also here in the studio with two brand new presenters. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hey, assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak everyone, it's Nuria.
And we also have...
Assalamu alaikum guys, it's Eliza.
It's nice to have you guys. As Nuria said, Ramadan Mubarak, it is the month of Ramadan. And today our main topic is reflection on society and a bit about how we behave in this month, improving our behavior, and how we can see a change in everyone during this month. We will be also touching upon welcome our non-Muslim brothers and sisters in this month. But before we get into that, please note that this is a pre-recorded show, so you won't be able to get in touch with us live. But you can message us and let us know your thoughts about this podcast on our Instagram at Sisters Speak. So, Nuria, do you want to tell everyone what our show is about, please?
Yeah, so guys, today we're going to be talking about a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinion on current events and issues, and even form discussions on general topics such as religion, culture, politics, social media and Islamophobia, along with many other subjects. Please note, all of our opinions and views are our own, and we respect all other or opposing similar views and opinions.
Thank you for that. So we're just going to get started. For the first half of our show, we're going to use these freshly grounded cards that we used in our last show, because they do get us to reflect a bit more, and they're deep questions that I chose out for you guys.
Ooh,
But before we get started, what is your thought of the week? I'd like to start with Eliza. Yeah, thought of the week is a section with just anything random that you've thought about in the week, any reflection, just anything. Do you want to?
Life is hard. Life is just like quite hard, and you just have to kind of get on with it, kind of thing. And like, you just have to keep pushing, basically.
Yeah, you just have to. So your thought of the week's about working hard.
Yeah, working hard and kind of just pushing yourself to keep going and motivate yourself to do more.
What kind of things would you say motivate you to, work hard and stuff?
I think my job, working with like special needs kids, I feel like it's such a big thing, because then when you see their progress, it makes you it's quite rewarding in a sense, because then you think, oh wow, I helped them get there.
Yeah, so the impact that you have on other people is what it comes to.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a great thought of the week. I really like it. Thank you for that. Nuria, what is your thought of the week?
I think for me, especially this week, I've learned like when I'm stressed, all that stress and all those emotions are like physically stored in my body. So it's really strange. My stomach will feel heavy, and the only way to get over that is like go gym or go for a walk. And I think it really opened up to me how emotions aren't just what you're feeling, it's what your body is holding as well.
Yeah, that's a great thought of the week. So you're just dealing with emotions and how you've been feeling today. Yeah. Well, that's great, guys. Thank you very much. This is your first thought of the week.
It was exciting.
Yeah, this session I think is so good. We're talking about reflection for this podcast, but just reflecting these little things that you think nobody wants to know about your thoughts, but then you come on the radio and then what you think, other people can think of it as well. Yeah. So I'm just going to get started with the questions. So the first question. So we've been talking about before the show about what we've been doing today and where we come from. So our jobs, college. So what's been tough about something that you guys have done today? Who wants to start? Just anything that you've encountered, something that was difficult for you today and you were like, oh my God, what have I done?
Today was just so like quite busy. Mm-hmm. So like had people come over all week, and then got work in the morning, and then you kind of have to like balance the two, I feel like. So kind of like, especially when stuff gets quite busy, like balancing life, I feel like can be quite tough. So
Yep. I agree. Nuria, what about you?
For me, it was the feeling of not getting everything I wanted to get done in the day. Like, when you feel like you're not as productive as you want to be. But then I have to like remind myself, nah, do you know what? There's only so much you can do in a day. And we're not robots. Like, it's good to have targets, but it's okay if you don't meet them.
Yeah, just having the intention to them, thinking it's okay not to do it. And, we all make mistakes. And Yep, I agree with you guys. I feel like because it's the mid of the week, then we've been so tired from the day and we're just
Yeah.
waiting to get until Friday so we don't have to do anything. For me, something that has been tough for today, I don't think anything has been tough. I think just concentrating, or because I had an exam today, so just concentrating on in that exam instead of hanging out with my friends. That's the only kind of difficulty I've done, because I get so, you want to socialize before your exam and because when I'm around my friends, I can't even concentrate. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, you never get work done. Like, you see on TikTok and on social media and stuff, you see everyone's going on like study dates in cafes and like Starbucks, and everything looks so aesthetic, but in reality you get no work
That's
done.
so true. It's
'Cause
like, it's just
all
not
you
realistic.
Yeah, exactly. All you do is talk about, oh, you're stressed for the exam, but you're not revising because you're talking
Yeah.
about, like stuff like that.
Yep, I agree. This exam season, please, guys, be concentrating. Don't be like us. And if you are going on study dates, do study in them. So my next question is, how would you guys deal with pressure in any kind of environment, work environment, in school, or any pressure that you guys have?
I think sometimes it's good to kind of like take a moment out and like, tell yourself it's going to be all right. You're going to be fine. Take a moment or like a couple minutes just to let it all relax, kind of sort through what you need to do, so to make it easier.
Yeah, kind of give yourself a bit of time. And like Nuria said, we're humans at the end of the day. And we can't do everything at like really fast, and we all have to take time. What about you, Nuria?
Oh, pressure is a hard one because I feel like I either deal with it really well. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit ill right now. I either deal with it really well or I really struggle. What helps me through though is before I start like the task or before I walk into a situation, I'll just try and breathe. Like for a minute, 2 minutes, just try be calm before I walk in, and even like take breaks and rest before you get tired. So like your energy levels are up instead of going into something being so tired and then resting.
Yeah, but I completely agree. Even if you haven't slept or anything, just taking time for yourself. And I think with dealing with pressure, I would say pray, because because
100%.
100%. What do you guys think about that? It's just your moment to like chill out a little bit and just talk, with your creator and tell them everything that you've felt so pressured about. So we're just gonna move on to the next question. So this question is a bit of a deep one. So when was the last time you faced a fear, and how did you feel afterwards?
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. These questions are so
really
good.
got me thinking. I think for me, it is dealing with self-doubt and doubting myself, because I do that a lot. But I've realised I do it a lot with like in the workplace or with decisions. And I think working through that has been and still is a big challenge for me, especially because I started a new job, so I'm still trying to get used to everything. It's a different dynamic, different workplace. So trying to deal with that has been hard in the sense of trying to like make sure that I'm validating myself, making sure that I'm not giving into my own thoughts. But like what you said, Farron, when you take those few moments out throughout the day, like where you pray, like especially work gets so busy, but even if you take 2 minutes and you're praying, you genuinely feel so much calmer, and it gives you confidence, and it really grounds you, and then you go on with your task and you feel good about yourself.
I agree. And one thing about this is to not compare what everyone else is doing. So like you said, you're new to your job, so you think everyone knows what they're doing already, and I'm just coming in without knowing. But it's okay, like we said, take your time a little bit. What about you, Eliza?
I feel like maybe stepping out of my comfort zone a bit more and like trying new things that I'm not more so comfortable with. So like what Nuria said about like starting a new job, like I also started a new job as well. So I think kind of, again, second guessing yourself, am I doing stuff wrong? What if I do stuff, like what if this happens and I didn't do the right thing? Especially working with kids, because there's a lot that goes into it. So I think mainly that, backing on your point, and then backing on your point when you said about praying, 100% it totally calms you down. Like just that couple of minutes just to like relax, and you kind of have that strength that everything will be okay and you'll get through it.
Yeah, I think with starting new things, starting new jobs, new school, everything is always nerve-wracking for everyone. And if it's not nerve-wracking for you, then, you know, we should take it as a as a
You
role
got
model.
mad confidence if
Yeah.
that's you.
Okay,
Definitely.
so now, in jobs, in college, we all tend to, be around friends, support each other, and kind of talk with them. But sometimes I think we forget to compliment each other and really give a bit of assurance to our friends. So what's stopping you from complimenting others more?
I think, honestly, just forgetting. That's me being really, genuinely honest. Sometimes I just forget. Sometimes I'll see something that's really nice and I'll think it might be like, oh my God, wow, either mashallah, scarf style is so beautiful or her makeup looks so nice. Then it's just like a passing thought in my head.
I think also,
No,
I think also because you get so busy as well, and when you see stuff and you think, oh yeah, I'll do it, but then you just
Yeah.
think, oh, because you get so wrapped up in your life and other things, you're like, oh, I forgot to do it. It kind of just passes.
Yeah, it's definitely important though. I think to be fair, that's a really good reminder for me. Even small things, it doesn't have to be physical. Even if you compliment someone about their personality, that could be the comment that boosts their self-esteem.
Yeah,
But-
like you can change someone's day with just one simple comment.
Mm.
I think people forget that. And
Definitely.
I think it goes both ways. Like if you say something like maybe disregarding someone or like something a bit mean to say, it can also change someone's whole perspective on that day.
I agree. I think complimenting is, like you said, like a passing head in your mind. It's in the back of your mind, but you will never say it. And I think it happens when you are like people that you don't know. So I tend to.
That's actually a really good point. It's with people that you don't know, because I feel so much more comfortable. If I've at least had one conversation with someone, I'm just I'm just gonna tell them.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
people are gonna think, why is this, girl out of nowhere coming to compliment? But you should do it.
Yeah.
It's like it starts to your friendship. It starts to I don't know
Definitely.
your best friend in the future. And I think what's stopping me from complimenting others more is the fact that whenever I do it, I always overthink it after. Like she's gonna think that I just came out of nowhere, or he's gonna think I just came out of nowhere. Now we're gonna move on from complimenting, and we're gonna. What's your favorite struggle? So this is a deep question.
Oh,
These questions are
These are
really,
good
really
questions.
deep.
Faraday's hitting us with them today.
100%.
Oh, I need to think about that. What's my favorite struggle? Oh, I've got it. Right, my favorite struggle is the struggle that brings me closer to God, because I know when I'm slipping away. I can feel it. And then when I'm in that low, it's like I'm waiting for that sign or that something to bring me back to God. And it could be through the smallest things. Sometimes it's just through an Instagram post. Sometimes I'm just on TikTok or something and I see an Islamic reminder and I'm like, oh my God, this is just reboosted or renewed my iman.
Yeah, I think it's like a sign from God. So when you're sometimes it happens in life, you forget to pray or you missed a prayer and you think in the back of your head, you're like, oh my God, I missed a prayer. What am I going to do? Am I going to do this? And then you kind of, happens when you're so busy that but it should be the first thing that you do. What about you, Elisa? What's your favorite struggle?
I'm trying to think. I feel like what you said, when stuff doesn't happen and you think about oh, I really wish that happened, and it kind of hits you. But then as time goes along and then you kind of think about it and you think, oh, that was best for me. And now God showed me another route, and maybe it's a better route for you to get to the same destination.
Yeah,
kind of.
I agree.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that analogy. It's a better route to get you to the same destination.
Yeah, because when I applied for my PGCE this year and I didn't get in. And at the time I was really quite sad about it. And I kind of beat myself up about it. But then now in the route I'm in, now looking back and reflecting on it, I think, no, this is much better. The route I'm going down now, it's much better because you have experience and then you make connections and you kind of get a feel for it instead of just jumping straight into the deep end and not knowing what's next. So
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. I find, when you're in the moment and you plan something so heavy and then it doesn't work out, what helps me is trying to think of all the positive outcomes of that. So Elisa said, it was better experience for you.
yeah.
And I think trying to help your mind think of the positive outcomes that it has instead of the negative can really keep you going.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it kind of pushes you to do more.
Yeah.
Like, instead of not, like, what's the word? Disencouraging? Is that a word?
Yeah, it is,
I think I feel like it encourages you more. It pushes you harder to get, like, you want it badly.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, I didn't get it, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, kind of, you want to prove something, or even prove it to yourself, if not anyone else.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys. My favorite struggle is, we all struggle with our dean sometimes, and it's okay. The important thing to remember is that you always go back to it, no matter what. There's always something pushing you to, like, pray, do this and do that. And I think what I struggle with the most now is, I'm really thankful for it, but it's because it's my favorite struggle, because I've been so busy doing so many things. But the thing is, I like what I'm doing, so I don't feel like it's busy. But it's a struggle to juggle between everything. But it's still a favorite thing. So about favorite struggles, I'm just going to ask you guys, where are you most, we talk about God and how he brings us back, pushes us closer to him. So what are you most thankful to Allah for this week?
I think for me, this podcast, like, since Monday, I've been so excited and so grateful for this opportunity, because honestly, right, I'm going to give you guys a little secret. I put podcasting on my vision board.
Oh my God, you made a vision board?
Yeah, I made a vision board. I put podcasting on. So then I was praying about it. And then when this opportunity came, I was like, wow, alhamdulillah, this is so nice. And it's given me motivation to, like, keep praying about it.
What about you, Eliza? Do you thankful? So you were just saying, like, when you make dua and everything, how powerful it is, to be honest. The fact that you put it on your vision board.
I think we forget how powerful dua is.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think, again, going back to my job, I feel like I keep talking about it, but I feel like this route that I'm in now, I think I'm more thankful for that than what I was, like, maybe if I didn't go down this route, then the other route, I think I would have found it much more harder to do. And I feel like it would have been much more challenging, because you're going to something brand new and you have no idea. Even though this is brand new and I have no idea, but I feel like it's just a bit of a stepping stone, a bit more closer to what I want to do.
Yeah, I think with dua is whatever Allah takes you. And if you make dua for something, like Aliza said, you were making dua for podcast, and alhamdulillah, we have you guys here today. But even if you do it and it doesn't go your way, then it's okay, because there's maybe something in the way, like you said, it's something in the way that's making you not some, obviously Allah's, you make dua for it, but if it's not going your way, then it's for a reason. So do you guys think that you're reaching your potential? Obviously, we're 3 girls here. We all have so much potential to do so many things.
Definitely.
Sometimes we don't do them. Sometimes we do. So do you guys think that you're reaching your home potential? You think like you have something more to do?
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. We still have a long way to go, to be honest.
But I feel like it's like a stepping stone again. Like you're getting yourself there. Like slowly. I feel like by the time, hopefully in the next couple of years, we will feel like a bit more fulfilled. Yeah, that's the right word.
Yep. What about you, Nuria?
I think for me, it's a hard one. I don't ever really always feel like I'm reaching my potential. When I look back on it, sometimes I'm like, oh wow, like, do you know what, tick box, like I reached that goal, I reached this goal. But in the moment, I never feel like I'm truly reaching my potential. What about you, Farah?
I think it's because we all get lazy sometimes.
Yeah,
you can do it, but you won't do it. Yeah. So I think with my potential, it's about radio. The fact that I'm just talking on like in the mic and everything. Do you guys feel the same about just coming to radio and being like, I'm actually talking with an audience here? You're just not like, it feels like a girl talk.
It does.
Yeah, 100%. Like you're just having a normal conversation that you would have any day.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that we all get lazy and there's like a general, everyone's so tired about doing stuff. So you are brand new presenters and you have introduced yourself. So I just want to say, what do you guys think is the most understood thing about you? Now that you guys are here in our, we're glad to have you in Inspire FM. What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about you guys?
Oh, misunderstood.
Yeah,
I thought you said
so
understood.
deep.
Sorry,
really making you deep, like think deeper.
You kind of know all about us today.
Is there things that where you say like when you were close with
misunderstood.
someone and you go, so what do you what was your first impression of me? And then you think, really, is that what you thought of
that
me?
was a very interesting conversation.
I think like people have said that I'm mean. Like I've got I think I'm not mean, but like not by talking to me. I think by looking at me, they think. But I think that's natural. I've got a bit of a. I don't want to say it on here, but RBF.
I don't know what that is.
like I feel like I haven't got like a happy face. Like it's just quite monotone.
Oh,
Makes
right. I
sense?
know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just your face expressions. It just depends on the day, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Or like, and I think once you get to know me and talk to me, they're like, oh, you're like quite, you know, friendly and
you're
like
easy to talk to.
Yeah, easy to talk to.
Definitely.
I think that's one of the main things I would say. What about you?
I think everyone's kind of the same. So your first impression and you think, wow, this girl looks a bit mean, but then you actually get to meet them. I never thought you were mean when I first met you.
Yeah, I've only heard that a couple of times.
Okay,
to be fair,
that's good then.
So.
What about you, Nuria?
Do you know what? I'm finding it really hard to answer this question. So I'm gonna flip it back on you guys.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna ask you, what was like an assumption or anything that you thought was true about me, and I can tell you, oh yeah, it was, or maybe not. That was a misunderstanding.
Like when I first met you.
Yeah, or
I
just anything.
I need to
just
think
anything.
back.
Or just anything, even up till now. Because honestly, I don't know what to say for that question.
It is a hard question to
It's
like
very
about
difficult.
yourself, and there's nothing I can think
Yeah.
of you either.
Yeah, same.
I think, let's see, but the something that I think the most misunderstood thing about me, I think, is the fact that I don't, because when I first came here, I came from Spain, obviously, so everyone just thought that I didn't speak the language, so they used to speak about me like in a corner, and I was like, I can understand you, you know, I just, so everyone used to ignore me like, oh, she's just,
Okay, that's
yeah.
quite rude.
It is quite rude, but it's okay. From that, I learned, and you just get away from that, people. So Nuria, there's nothing that you can answer for this question.
Not that I can think of. I feel like I need a different person perspective. On
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna talk about emotions now. So which emotions do you guys tend to disguise on a like daily basis?
Ooh, that's
On
a
a
good
daily-
one.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm angry. Well, not angry, or like a bit like
frustrated.
or like frustrated and a bit kind
Yeah.
of sad. Is that sad maybe? So like when you go to work, you don't want to like bring everyone else down.
Yeah,
Or,
like you don't want
or
to
bring like negative energy in like with your department and in your meeting. So you kind of have to put on a facade.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that, because personally I just think I wouldn't like it if someone else did that at work and stuff, because I think it should be separate in a sense, especially if it's around like the whole meeting and the whole group.
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe one-to-one you can speak to like certain co-workers and stuff, but I feel like in general, I think that's what I tend to mask.
I think that would be the same for me. Like, if I'm feeling sad about something, I try to like keep it to myself. I don't want to ruin
Everyone else's vibe.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin the vibe or like.
I
the
think it depends on how
workplace
close
energy.
you are. Yeah.
Yeah, or like I don't like it when people who I'm not really close with, like they kind of feel sorry for you, and I feel like it's kind of like asking for attention that you don't need, if that makes sense.
If it's something personal at work, I tend and I'm upset. I tend to keep it to myself. But
Yeah.
if it's something work related, because I work in safeguarding, it is quite emotions heavy. Then I do share it with my co-workers, and I'm lucky that I have a supportive team, because I feel like when you have that open office space where you can just get it off your chest, it makes you more productive. You feel better about yourself. You can work better. There's not so much mental clutter in your head.
Yeah, but I think with this, like you guys said, you don't want to bring everyone else's energy down.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's okay to be sad, and if other people are happy around you and you're not, then I feel like you don't have to fake it, even though I do it sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So when you go somewhere and your friends are really happy and you're not feeling quite good, you become an actress out of nowhere. And then just like, because you don't want to ruin the mood, but if you're not okay that day, then it's okay. So, what does patience mean to you? Patience. So I think patience is such an important skill to have, to be honest, everywhere. So what does patience mean to you?
I feel like understanding where other people are coming from, and even where you're coming from sometimes, like like empathizing with kids and with people, and like not just kids but other people, like understanding their points of view.
Yeah.
And like if you feel, let's say, upset or something about something that someone else has done, they should, or I would, whatever, be patient with somebody, take the time out to understand why they are feeling like that, and why you wouldn't understand why they're feeling like that, because you obviously have different experiences, come from different places. I think that's one of the main things I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, Nuria, because you work on safeguarding, the patient is a big thing to you, isn't it?
It's so important, because it literally, having patience will will support the kid, and like it will support the atmosphere. If you can try and put yourself in like the kid's point of view, then you can understand maybe why they're acting out, or maybe why they might be really upset over something small. But also what Eliza said, I think seeing the other person's point of view is a key fundamental thing in keeping and establishing relationships, like with your friends and your family, because I think with patience comes a lot of forgiveness. And I think that's what's hard, when you have to have the two together. But I feel like it's worthwhile in the end.
It is, I agree, being patient and being forgiven. Is it forgiven?
Yeah, forgiven.
Yeah, it's really important. So we are coming to the end of our first half. We discussed this lovely, freshly grounded cards, which did make us reflect. Join us in the next half of the show, where we will be talking about reflections in society during the month of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sisters Speak. You're joined here with me, Fareen.
Salam guys, this is Nuria.
Salam guys, it's me, Eliza.
So we discussed in our first half some freshly grounded cards that made us a bit of go into the deep zone and reflect.
Really deep.
Today we're going to do reflections on society. We're going to be discussing our not our relationship with friends. We're going to be discussing our relationship with other people, how we behave in this month, and kind of the impact of this month on the society, and how we can welcome our non-Muslim brothers and sisters in this month. I want to ask you guys, why do you think Ramadan is important to our society and kind of how we behave?
I think one of the many reasons why it is important is that it shows everyone around the world, and even Muslims themselves, the beauty of Islam and the beauty and the love that we actually really have for one another. Because I feel like sometimes throughout the year we forget, like, we really are a collective. We shouldn't all feel like we're alone. And I feel like Ramadan is such a lovely time because you feel part of something, like when you go to the mosque and you're praying, and then like you genuinely feel that connection with everyone. Even if you don't even know who you're praying next to, you feel that love for them.
I agree. It's like everyone, some people that you think they're not Muslim, or some people that you know close with, you see them and you're like, we're actually such a big community.
Yeah.
And you can see this in this month in iftars, when you go to pray in the mosque. What about you, Elisa? Why do you think it's important?
No, I agree with what both of you guys said. Like, it's like one big community coming together, and like I feel like it shows other people like the true Islam, not just the stuff that they hear about in the media constantly, but what it actually is and what it's actually about. It's about community and coming together and like being one, and yeah, to be honest.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing because we're all together, but we're reflecting on our, like, by ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's everyone's relationship with God, but they're like, we're together but separate in our minds, which is so crazy. And what is the impact of this month on our behavior? We discussed before how in Ramadan everyone's so peaceful and everyone's so quiet, and then after that month I feel like we all go crazy again. So what do you guys think that we're like in Ramadan, the impact of this month for us in our behavior, how we kind of talk with our friends and talk with our family?
I feel like because you're more mindful that it's Ramadan and it's like the 1 month where you're fasting, we're also not just fasting from food.
Sorry, I forgot to start the timer, so we'll have to start again.
Oh.
That's alright.
I know, we'll have to start again. That's so annoying. Okay, we're gonna start again. I forgot to start the timer. Sorry.
So where do we start from?
Just at the beginning, because I don't know how many minutes we did.
No, that's
They edit all of this out.
It's probably... Huh?
They edit all this out, don't they?
Yeah. It's probably like 5 minutes, but I don't know how much. Oh my god. Now, assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sister Speak. You're here with me, Fareen, and we also have in the studio.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak guys, it's Nuria.
Assalamu alaikum guys, it's me, Eliza.
Yep, we're here with our brand two new presenters, and we will be talking about, so in the first half we discussed our fleshly grounded cards, where these cards are really good because we reflected on many things like patience and struggles. And now we're going to be going into our main topic, which is reflecting on society. And because it is the month of Ramadan, then we will be touching upon that as well, how it affects and impacts our behavior. And we will also be talking about how we can welcome our non-Muslim brothers and sisters in this really peaceful month. So my first question is, why do you think Ramadan is important to our society?
I think it's important. There's so many reasons, but the one thing is that it shows Muslims and non-Muslims around the world the love that we really have for each other. Like when you're going to pray, you literally feel so part of a community. You feel that love. And even that, you know, when people do random acts of kindness, like your friends dropping off food for iftar, or like when your family hosts iftars, it's such a warming feeling.
Yeah, it feels really welcoming.
Yeah, that's the
And
word.
it's like,
welcoming.
You just feel a lot of love and a lot of peace. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's just what Ramadan's about. Just,
Yeah, even if they're not family, just because the fact that they're Muslim and you see them in the masjid, you see them everywhere for a whole month, you just get so close with them. And it's so important because it brings, you see how many people out there, like we're all such a big community. And in this month, we're all reflecting to God, but we're also together.
Another reason is, you know, when you give food out for iftar time, you give it to your neighbours. Like we give it to our non-Muslim neighbours as well. And they really like it because they think, like, this is such a great feeling, like out of nothing, just out of pure, like, just love for your family and your neighbours and your community. You're just giving them food. To them, you make them feel like happy inside, like you kind of introduce them into the community and show them what Islam really is about.
Yeah, I think it's so positive for both people because you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart and to get close to God and without expecting anything but good in return. And they're doing it, and the impact it has on them is they feel that love, they feel part of a community.
It's a beautiful month. And then after that month, we also meet so many people that we have so many other connections after that month. Do you guys feel like after that month, we're all kind of, it's still in that Ramadan mindset?
I feel like, again, you get so busy with life and other stuff. And then, but this type of time, when Ramadan is slowly approaching, you just kind of, like, you crave it more and more.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ramadan comes at the most perfect time of the year, even though it happens, like, obviously depending on when, like, the month is, it falls all around the year, but it comes at the perfect time. Like, you just, your body and your soul craves it.
It's so interesting because we all say the same thing. We're all on such different journeys and like such different paths, but we all feel that we need and we crave Ramadan. And I say this to my dad every year throughout Ramadan. When you step outside, it feels different.
It does.
Yeah, it feels like Ramadan. You feel safe in a way.
Yeah, you feel like, it's like you feel the peace.
100%.
It's quiet peace.
I think it's Ramadan. Everyone's kind of in their best behavior, and you are in your best behavior as well. So you can just feel it in everyone. So just with behavior, what do you think, guys, is the impact of this month on our behavior? Obviously, we try to win our best behavior. We give charity. We try not to backbite. So what do you guys think is the impact of this?
I feel like because when you're fasting, it's not the fast of just like not eating or anything, but it's the fast of like, I feel like it kind of cleanses you. If you can go 30 days without doing something, you're fine. But if you can't go those 30 days, then you kind of realize, I can't even go 30 days without doing a certain habit, like a bad habit. And it kind of makes you think, like, is it really worth it? If I can't go, like, if you're addicted to something that's not good for you, is it really worth it to be going through that or doing that to yourself?
Yeah.
I think it's really good for habit building.
Yeah.
Because it takes 30 days, well, they say it takes around 30 days to build and establish a habit. And like Elisa said, if you can do it for those 30 days, you can definitely do it for the rest of the year. And I know for me, like, with the little everyday habits, Ramadan is a good time. If I've been slacking, that it, like, restarts everything again and reminds me that, okay, no, I do have that self-discipline. And then on the back of that, you come out knowing your potential. And you feel so much more encouraged knowing that, wow, I can do this.
Yeah, I think Ramadan for us is like a new you. You want to start from new. It's like you were born this month.
Yeah.
And
it's like, like you were saying, it's like a rebirth.
Yeah.
You feel fresh and cleansed and calm, and like you kind of forget all the worries that you normally have on like a day-to-day basis.
It's because you know for 30 days you have this whole month to do every good habit that you want. You know you're getting rewarded for it. Yeah. And with habits, like you guys said, you want to get rid of those bad habits, but then you don't want to do them again after the month of Ramadan. So you get 30 days to not do them, and then, you know, stop doing them after that because you build that habit. So with behavior and everything, I just want to ask you guys, what do you think Ramadan this month teaches us and everybody around us?
I think it reminds us that right now, I feel like the society we're living in some ways has become over time very individualistic. It's not as collective as it used to be. And I feel like living according to the Quran and the Sunnah, you realize that society is meant to be collectivist. It's not meant to, you're not meant to feel so alone in your own community and like with Muslims around you. And I think it just reminds us all and encourages us all to maybe like do more for the community, such as, I don't know, maybe host random Muslim and non-Muslim events, maybe even just invite people over to your house more for dinner, things like that that don't make you feel so alone.
Yeah, I agree. I think in Ramadan, you give extra attention to this kind of acts of worship that you kind of forget about when it's not Ramadan. What about you, Elisa? What do you think? Is it Ramadan teaches us in this month?
I feel like it teaches you a lot about yourself.
I agree.
And a lot about how you can like benefit yourself, like how you can do better and how you can like use your time more productively. I feel like when it's not Ramadan, or sometimes we forget, we kind of waste a lot of time and we become lazy. But Ramadan pushes you to kind of forget that laziness, and it kind of just motivates you to become a better person and a better Muslim.
I agree. I think when we say it's such a peaceful month, everyone's on their best behavior, we can do this after Ramadan. Every month can be a peaceful behavior. Just if, as a society, we kind of learn what Ramadan teaches us and what, like you said, what's written in the Quran and how we can be in our, like we can all be a peaceful society if we just try, which is, you know, important. How do we benefit from this month? What are the benefits from this month? Obviously, there's so many. You get you do extra attention to worships. You get so many good deeds. But what other things would you guys say? And how can you improve kind of your acts of worship in this month?
I think for me, it's a benefit that I see is that things aren't actually, like, habit building isn't as hard as I'm making it out to be for myself, because I set goals and then when I don't reach them or I half reach them, I feel really guilty about them. But then I think it makes me realise to break it down, keep it simple and celebrate the small yeses and like the small wins. And I think when you do that, when you start off with the small things with God, then you can build it up slowly. Like I know for myself, if I start doing all the big things, I get so overwhelmed and I just can't keep it up.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, when you do stuff too quick, like you completely change your routine, it will never ever work because you're not used to it. It feels unfamiliar. But if you take baby steps, like one day, like let's say you struggle praying your salah on time, so then you're like, now I'm gonna pray my fajr on time, and then you do it one day and then you're like, oh, that was easy, I'll do it again. And then slowly you build up to doing Zuhr namaz on time, and then Asr, and then Isha, and then Maghrib, and then Isha, and then slowly you've become more inclined to do it instead of just kind of forcing yourself to do it right on that first day and then feeling guilty when you don't complete it. I feel like it's good to let yourself kind of have a break and know that stuff takes time. Nothing can be, like people say Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
So you can't like expect yourself to do so much in a day or like set these like crazy goals and expect to achieve them in such short amounts of time. You have to take steps to achieve those goals and baby steps, especially to keep those habits forever and not lose them.
Yeah, I think like I always say this in every show, is small steps go such a big way. Like you said, you have to be realistic about your goals, and if you can't reach them, it's for a reason. And if you don't feel like you haven't worked hard enough, maybe you haven't, but it's okay, you know, you build these little habits. And now because it's getting closer to Ramadan, then we had like every day you start thinking, oh, Ramadan's next month, I have to kind of build this habit instead of going into the month and being like, oh, now I have to pray. If you don't pray all five, then I have to pray all five. And like me, I struggle so much waking up for Fajr, and I always pray it late. But in this month, I'm trying, before Ramadan, I'm trying, you know, wake up on time. And
That's clever. You're trying to already build the habit.
Yeah. So we're going to move on. And I'm just want to ask you guys, what does this month strengthen, yeah, between us? So in brotherhood and community, kind of friendships, how can we, obviously our behavior changes, we're on our best behavior as a society, but what kind of relation, how do we all get like united? Yeah.
I think we all get united through doing things together. Like, for example, doing charity events together or volunteering together or praying together. And I think if there were more of these outside Ramadan too, and we all of us took the initiative to maybe take part in planning or just even creating these, we would still feel that brotherhood and that sisterhood that we felt in Ramadan.
Yeah, I agree. I think with this month, like we said before, is so, even you're just walking everywhere, and you see someone in this month, and you're like, oh, they're fasting, I'm fasting as well. It just brings you close.
It's like an instant connection.
Yeah, 100%.
literally.
You find that you have stuff in common with people that you think, oh, I would never ever have that in common with them before, but now you do.
Yeah,
Just by one little thing.
I agree. It's like like you said, it's instant connection. You just go somewhere and you see someone, you're like, oh, they're fasting, I'm fasting as well. Then we're gonna go pray. We're gonna do iftar. I mean, we're not gonna do it together, but we are gonna do it, and we just connected like that in your mind. So I do want to touch up upon how to welcome non-Muslims, and how it, obviously Ramadan is not exclusive just to us. So in Ramadan, we do bring up this values of not backbiting, you're on your best behavior, you give charity, but these are stuff that everyone can do, not just us Muslims. So how would you guys welcome your non-Muslim friends, colleagues, or anything in this month of Ramadan, and kind of what would you say you are teaching them as well in this month? So for example, in Ramadan, someone's gonna come up to you and be like, what are you doing? You say, I'm fasting, and then they're gonna ask you, oh, why are you fasting? What is this month?
I feel like it's a way to educate them and like deceive misconceptions of why you're fasting. And then because some people obviously they haven't grown up or been around Muslim people, so you think obviously you can't blame them for not being aware and having like preconceived notions about it. So then I think it's a good way to kind of take that away from them and actually understand why you're doing it and the benefits of it, not just because you have to do it and it's so strict and all of that stuff, but it's more you want to do it because of the love that you have for your creator.
Yeah, but I agree. And I think with non-Muslim people, we always should feel them welcome. And I think one of my friends in Spain, obviously there's not such a big community as is in Luton. So I used to be like, you should try do it with me one time. They're not going to pray, but she did fast, my friend. She did fast for a whole day. And it was so beautiful. I took her to iftar and it was such a great time. And she was like, I don't know how you do it without water, without anything. And I was like, what?
That question, not even water?
She asked me.
We get it every year.
We get it every year. And it's the thing that non-Muslims, and like you said, this has such a perception of sometimes non-Muslim people, they don't see it in real life, like real friends. So now here there's so many people that are non-Muslim that you're close with, but in other places, like for example in Spain, I didn't have that many Muslim friends, but my other non-Muslim friends, they were really nice to me about it, and they really didn't judge me for it. What would you say, Nuria, you can do to bring closer and teach a kind of Ramadan to your non-Muslim brothers?
Do you know what? I
said brothers.
I think it just invite people, like in the mosque in the evening, invite them for prayers, and then treat them to a meal, or just even if it's like tea and donuts. Everyone loves tea and donuts.
Exactly.
Something like that. And if you're in a workplace or in a school, wherever, maybe organise like a big iftar event for Muslims and for non-Muslims, and get them involved in the planning too. I think the behind the scenes is always fun.
Yeah, it's not talked about enough, No,
it's actually so fun because you meet so many people, and I don't know, you could even like document the journey, make a little TikTok,
little vlog and stuff.
Yeah, that's
100%.
what I'm saying. Like, make it fun for them, make them feel included. Think about how would you like to feel included. Like, I know for me, I would like to feel included by like being invited. So if you're going out with your mates, invite them, or make the initiative to maybe invite them over for iftar. Things like that, or create a workplace iftar. If you do create a workplace iftar, tag us on Instagram at Sister Speaks. Would love to see that.
Yeah, we all want to see your iftar little behind the scenes and your final
the planning,
product.
The decorations,
everything,
the lights, all of it, the food.
Maybe we could even make it a challenge.
That would be cool.
We could talk about that. Behind the scenes.
The best iftar.
I think with the behind the scenes, we always tend to forget about the fact that in my house, my mom makes it, and obviously you help them as well. But then because it's that moment close to opening your fast and you're such a bad mood that you kind of forget.
Oh my God, sometimes I just feel so... I think when it's like the beginning of Ramadan, because your body's not used to it. So you're still kind of building up that kind of immunity to fasting.
Definitely.
And I just get a headache, like the first and second, I have this pounding headache. And I think it's more because you're dehydrated.
Definitely.
And you're like working and you're like, or you're at college or uni and you're just busy and you've got so much to do. And you just kind of get a headache by the end of it. But then as your body gets used to it, you kind of go along, and it becomes, by the time Ramadan comes to an end, you're so used to it.
You are so used to it. I think after Ramadan, you don't even eat as much. And when you're fasting, you're like, I would be eating right now, but I'm not feeling hungry. And I think that's midway through Ramadan. At the start, we all kind of struggle with it. And when it's about to open your fast and you're helping your mom and she's asking you to do something, you know how you get so hungry?
Yeah, I was
hungry.
about to ask, do you guys get hungry? I
Yes.
get so hungry. Oh my God. I'm like biting my tongue. Make sure I don't say nothing to my dad or my sister. Like in the last 5 minutes before you're fasting.
Or like when you're fasting, you crave crazy things.
Yeah, and they're so random.
So random. But then like when you open your fast, you eat one kajur date, a glass of water.
Kajur is date, by the way.
Sorry. A bit of fruit and you're full. It shows your eyes are hungry, not your mouth.
Yeah,
it's your eyes.
Your eyes are hungrier than your stomach.
I just want to, this is what we're talking about, the fact that we refrain from being so, not rude, but being so hungry in quotation marks to reference is so good, because we're in Ramadan and we're trying to build that good behavior. So if something that we would do if it wasn't Ramadan, we're not doing it and we're refraining from this kind of stuff. Now I'd like to kind of do the end of the 10 minutes. I just want to ask you guys, how does Ramadan make you a better person, and what kind of things are you doing to kind of that you feel that you're improving your iman in this month?
I think for me it's trying to learn more du'as. I've been trying to set goals for learning du'as, but honestly I've just been lazy. But I feel like Ramadan will really give me that motivation again, and I can learn them and try and memorize them again.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with Ramadan, every day we have this learn du'as. I think I stick to the same 3 surahs, and I just want to, in this month I want to learn, not all of them obviously, you have to set a realistic goal, but I want to learn more, and like you said, do more. You don't have to, I always say this, but you don't have to finish the whole Quran in the month if you can't. I think it's what about you?
30 days.
30 days, sorry.
I feel like making dua that's more sincere, because I feel like in Ramadan it gets answered more, kind of thing. And I feel like becoming more sincere with my duas, making sure like what I've said is like doing it in a way that's better, easier to get your duas answered.
I think that's actually a really good reminder to myself to spend longer on my du'as.
Yeah.
And not rush the end of my prayer.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like I rush the end because again, you've got stuff to do, you need to get places, and then it kind of gets pushed to the back. So I feel like Ramadan's that good month to like become more sincere with them and like take your time. Like it's not a race. Who cares if you're like 2-3 minutes late or whatever?
It's like Nuria says, like a different air. You just feel like you don't have anything but that prayer. And in that prayer, you take your time. Like normally, like I said, you have so many things to do. You have to go to college, I have to go this, you have to do that. And you're like, you're kind of rushing it. You're not even thinking about what you're saying about the prayer. You're just thinking about, I have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you guys. I think better things, praying on time, kind of making more sincere du'as, learning more surahs, reading the Quran, also giving zakat, which is also really important. And what other things would you guys say that you guys do? Like the last 10?
I think trying to learn the 99 names of Allah, that's also really good. And that it's really good because you can use it in your everyday, like in your everyday life. Like if you're struggling, you can just make a quick dua in your head or out loud, calling upon a name of Allah, and you will feel so connected because you really understand the depth and the mercy that He has for us.
Yeah, and I think, or like backing on what you said, Nuri, like with each of Allah's names, what you're asking for, you can ask from that specific name, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's a good point.
Yeah, we really do go into more deep things that we wouldn't do, I feel like, on a daily basis.
Yeah, and stuff you wouldn't necessarily think of either.
Yeah, stuff that you think it's not that important now because it's not the month of Ramadan, but then when it actually comes, it's really important. But it's important always.
100%.
Yeah, and about reflecting on society, what kind of changes have you guys seen in other people that in the past? Obviously, the month is coming now, and everyone's kind of getting into their best behavior. And I think I can see it from now how everyone's trying to build their habits. Like I'm trying to pray Fajr on time, and then everyone's kind of in that going into that mindset of a Ramadan. But what kind of changes did you guys see in the past Ramadans that you are hoping to see them in this Ramadan as well?
I think a change in the mosques, like they get so busy, and I think that's a really nice thing to see when everyone's rushing. Everyone wants to get their prayers in, and like you also feel the emotion of other people, because people, you like when you feel connected, you feel that deep sense of either sadness or regret from how far you feel like you've strayed from Allah.
Yeah, and I think Ramzan, if everyone's, like I said, everyone's kind of reflecting more than you would in a normal place. So when you read the Quran, for example, try to read a translation. Like, I don't understand Arabic. I know how to read it, but you don't understand the actual words.
The meaning,
Yeah, so you just, to understand really that meaning, you don't have to rush through it. Just read it, understand the translation, kind of, build up that iman that you have and get closer to God.
Yeah, like taking your time with stuff. I feel like recently everyone's in a rush to go places, to get stuff done, and you kind of don't have time for yourself. I feel like Ramadan's a good, like, quite like self-care in a way. Like, it's just for you and your God, and like you have that kind of connection that I think you kind of miss out on in the rest of the months.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with fasting, like, you're in such a bad mood that you kind of forget that kind of thing. And then when iftar comes, you're with so many people, you just get so happy. You just see everyone outside. Do you guys have any final thoughts about Ramzan and kind of the society, that how everyone changes their behavior?
I think I would just say, for this Ramadan, either every day or every other day, try and do an act of kindness. It doesn't have to be big, just within your limits, even if it's a compliment, and see how that makes you feel at the end of the day. Try maybe set that as like a challenge for yourself.
Yeah, this really good little aims. Be nice. Don't just be on your best behavior and keep being on your best behavior after a month. Where about you, Nuria? What is that final thought that we'd like to give everyone that you should do in this month? Oh, Aliza, sorry. That you should do in this month.
Again, agreeing with Nuria, I feel like set small goals for yourself, make them realistic, because the more, like, I've done it before, I feel like we've all fell into that habit of like making like long goals and like extravagant goals that we won't fulfill. And I feel like when we don't fulfill them, we'll just feel a bit sad. But I feel like keep shorter goals, keep them, what's the word? Just keep realistic, yeah. Keep them realistic, keep them sweet and short, and try to get as most as you can do. And I feel like even if you don't think that you can't get the most done, it's still okay. Don't like beat yourself up about it. You've done the most that you can.
Yeah. We're just coming to the first half of the second half of the show. It was great catching up with you guys. I just want to say everyone have a peaceful Ramadan, and like we said, just to round it up, be nice to each other. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.